there's your base stance, in which you're either a 50-50 down or you run first. And in that stance, you want to have 60% of your balance of your weight back in your legs and 40% on your hands. So if I got in a stance and I lifted my hand, I still have balance. I can move with power and not be off balance. So let's go one more time. Now, the other thing with the hand is that I always said you should be able to put an egg under your hand without squishing the egg. So that requires some finger strength. So a good way, a teaching tool, or if you're doing competition, if me and Manny are doing a shuttle or something and I lose, I would teach fingertip push-ups like this on everything that I did, just to get their fingers and their hands and their grip stronger. And then as far as alignment, and this can change based on scheme, right? Depending on what you're asking your lineman to do. But I always told them we wanted a credit card. Can you toss me that ball, coach? Like, I should be able to swipe just a credit card between his tips of his fingers and the tips of that ball. And if my fingertips are above my face mask like they should be and my helmet's behind my hand, then I can't be offside. But within, and we're cheating the line of scrimmage as much as we can to give ourselves an advantage. So we'll go right, you're gonna go, you can use the ball right here, Manny, to get as tight as you can, but just start from square one. So if you wanted to break it down into numbers, like I would say 1 would be, like as a teaching progression, 1 would be a little bit wider than shoulder width and toes even. 2 would be staggering that back foot, heel to toe. 3 would be elbows to knees. 4 would be hand out in front of the face mask. And 5 then would be my offhand under my chin. Obviously, a lot of them are going to want to leave that offhand relaxed. We're trying to emphasize hand as close as possible so that I can get my hands on the offensive lineman as quick as possible. So let's go one more time, just going from numbers, Manny. 1, 2, 3. 3 is elbows. 4, 5 is offhand, and then the next would be our movement, our first movement. All right.
Credit card.
Yeah, credit card, and don't break the egg. Let's go left-handed stance, Manny. So everything's gonna be the same. Okay, you're 2, 2, 3. Start from the beginning. Remember, you're just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay, that's 1. And 2 is stagger the left toe to the right heel. 3 elbows. 4 left hand down. 5 under your chin.
Coach, inside legs always staggered?
Yeah, your inside leg. Same hand, same foot. Oh, you mean it on the shade?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless, well, not necessarily. It depends on the shade. So, Manny, step over here and be an offensive guard. Say you're a guard, there's a center there. So if I'm playing inside, it depends on his technique. If he's playing inside shade of a guard, like this would be outside, right? It's always whatever shade that you're in, that's the hand that's down and the foot that's back.
Okay.
So the same if he was a tight end on a tackle and I wanted to play like a jam 7 technique on a tight end, now I'm playing inside shade of him. I'm still playing this C gap, but it would be outside.
So does that have to do with football? As far as the stance?
The technique?
Yeah.
No.
So it's all about where they're at.
It's their numbers.
Right.
So what I would do would start with the numbering system. Our numbering system. So if you don't plan on playing any like heads up technique, then you almost don't got to give that heads technique a number. But so what we called was, if I'm the center and he was shaded either side of me, that's a shade.
Right.
And then inside shade of the guard, 2 is head up. 3, then I'm on tackle, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm a tight end, 7, 8, 9. So eventually you can say, Joe, get to 3, and he should be, right now, he knows he's outside shade of the guard. So then while we're talking about you want to say something?
No, Coach, you're good.
So let's say he's the guard now. Ivan, can you be the center for me? So what you're gonna get right off the bat is if you're playing shade technique, is kids that want to line up right in the gap. They think that is better for them, since they have to play that gap anyways, since you're a gap technique and it looks like an easier route and all that stuff. But the problem then is you give great angles for these guys. And who do I put my hands on, right? I want to have the man that I'm fighting already, I know who that is, and that's who I'm shaded on. So I'm going to be an inside shade, or I'm going to be in a shade technique here, and I'm almost my left eye to his left eye technique. And now I know who I'm fighting, I still know what gap I am. So initially they're all going to have a man key. And that's the most important thing. Who's your man key? Who's your man key? Who's your man key? And that's the man that you're lined up, shaded on, and who your eyes should be burned into. I've gone different things with where their eyes initially start. One thing that you might start with is his outside knee. And the reason for that is, like, if Ivan stepped right at me with his left leg, okay, that's a base block. I know right now when I step, he's trying to drive me off. And by keeping my eyes here, now eventually I got to transition to here, but it keeps their pad level down. Because if you give them a helmet, sometimes they're up here reading a helmet. So go ahead and go back, Ivan. If his left leg goes this way, I know right now he's down blocking, and I could be right off his ass. And that's when you get into like block recognition. And then if his left leg were to kick back, I'm on my pass rush right now. The one other thing you might see is, like, if you were trying to reach or get out and pull, is there. And then usually right there you're getting a back block, and you got to transition to this adjacent key. So he's my man key, but Manny's my pressure key. I know that he could come at me. I'm not trying to see them both at the same time, but I have peripheral on him. But he's my man key. So I can get a double from him. I could get what we just saw, where he comes back on me. I could get, now you're going to see a lot of zone combo blocking, or I can see them going this way and both trying to run on some type of stretch. And in which case, I can't let him cross my face. But all that, like, you can't just tell them that they can't you've got to teach them exactly where to put their feet, and it's going to take them to that block, and eventually they should be able to feel it right away by the time they get their second foot down.
The read is always at the near knee?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, you got to come to that consensus as a staff, because most of the time they're reading tips of the shoulder pad here, and I never have to transition my eyes. And most kids don't want to look down at the knee. They have a tendency to look up there anyways. So you might want to start with that, but just keep hammering pad level, and they'll know when their pad level's bad because they'll see it on film. They're getting beat.
Yep.
And